Now, I want to introduce our featured speaker today. A few days ago, she came to me and she said, I can't believe it. I cannot do the call live. I'm traveling. I'm going on a retreat. So can we pre-record my portion of the call? I said, absolutely. I want to make this easy for you. So Melissa Brewer and I met a few days ago and I recorded her call. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share the screen of the pre-recorded video with Melissa, but let me tell you, she was superb. So stick around for that. We're going to share it. Here we go. Hi, coaches. I'm really super excited for our featured speaker today. Let me tell you a little bit about her because she inspired me with her mindset shift and her joy in completing this program. So I want to tell you a little bit about Melissa. She's a 12-star diamond coach. She started about 5.5 years ago coaching, and she has reached elite 3 times. So she's a 3-time elite. Last year in 2018, she finished top 100 out of all the coaches in the network. She finished in the top 100 for all coaches, and she is a Success Club All-Star legend. For those of you who don't know what that is, she has achieved Success Club more than 24 months in a row. In fact, I think she's almost at 40 months, but that is what a legend is. So let me introduce to you, she's from Kaysville, Utah, Melissa Brewer.
Hi, Sandy. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. I'm excited to have you, and you know how the call goes. So let's get right into what brought you to Beachbody. How'd you become a coach?
Yeah, my life before coaching was really good, but it wasn't what I expected it would look like. I had been in the classroom teaching English and creative writing for about 3 years, and I was also the head volleyball coach. My husband and I, it just seemed like we were boats passing in the night. We had just had our second baby, and having 2 kids under 2 was very busy. It was chaotic. It was stressful. But I kind of just assumed that that's what everyone's life looked like. My husband and I, we both worked full-time, 50 to 60 hours a week. And it was kind of discouraging because we were still just barely making enough to pay the bills. I always assumed that I would be happy working and that I would be totally fine having my kids go to daycare. But almost immediately after I became a mom, I knew that I wanted nothing more than to be home with my kids, with my babies, and to take care of them. As much as I really loved my job teaching and coaching the volleyball team, I loved my kids more, and I hated leaving them, and I could see it was also taking a toll on them. I knew I needed to get home somehow. Financially, though, we couldn't afford for me to quit my job. And I remember a specific December morning in 2013, just like it was yesterday. I was sitting in my classroom and I was looking over some of the bills and the expenses that we had coming up with Christmas and taxes and all of that. And I kind of realized that we were going to have to dip into our savings, our dwindling savings once again. And that was really discouraging. My heart kind of sunk and that financial stress set in, and I started to cry and I started texting my husband, like, what are we going to do? And I just kind of stepped away and I started to pray. And I just knew that there had to be something out there I could do to help supplement our income, to help us to get out of this, really sticky place that we were. So I tried online teaching. That didn't work. I couldn't make any money doing that. And on that December morning, to distract myself, I logged onto Facebook, which is something I rarely ever did. And I saw a girlfriend of mine, she had posted a little bit about what she was doing. Now, 6 months before this same girl had invited me to do an online challenge group. I told her no because I was like 30 weeks pregnant, not wanting to work out. And she just kindly said, okay, I'll just check in with you after you have your baby, which she did. And she had for 6 months straight. She was so consistent in inviting me to be in her challenge group. And every month I told her no. until this day when I saw her share her story and I heard how this opportunity was impacting her life. So I reached out. I told her I wanted more info and to tell me all the stuff because I didn't want it to be sugar-coated. And I signed up to be a coach that very day.
I'm back. I could not get the buttons going. You know, it's such a great story because you just never know when it is the time for someone, when all the planets are aligned and it's something going on with you and you're going on to Facebook and finally the message that she had been saying all this time finally resonated with you. So incredible story. Why don't you share with everybody? There's so many topics that you can talk about, but this is something that's very close to your heart. So why this topic?
Yeah, thanks. Beachbody launched To Be Mindset last year, which you guys all know. And at that time in my life, it was like perfect timing for me. I was really struggling. We had just had our third baby, and I was struggling with, to lose the postpartum baby weight. And I was also kind of struggling in my postpartum business. We had been a 5-star elite team for 2 years in a row. And while I was so, so proud of my team, I wanted so much more for them, and I wanted so much more for us. So I felt like I was in this place where I was giving myself a lot of grace, probably too many halo tops of grace, having had this third baby and kind of just not sticking to my nutrition like I knew I should be. So when they announced this new mindful nutrition program, I instantly just felt so much excitement. Like I said, I was still 30 pounds overweight and I had been struggling to lose the weight. And I thought it was going to be easier the third time around. I'd been a coach for 3 years. I had all these tools. I had my community, and it was still really hard for me. As I learned over the next few months, though, you can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. You really have to change the things that you're doing to see change in your life. So while I sat there at leadership and I watched that sizzle video, I recognized so many of the things that I was struggling with, but was maybe in a little bit of denial about. How much of an emotional eater I am, how I always seem to look at external things to bring me internal joy. I thought I was doing a really good job in that moment of hiding the tears from my eyes, but Jeff, my husband, he saw them and he leaned over and asked me what was wrong. And I just whispered to him, I know this is going to change my life. So about a week later, maybe 2, I was invited to be in the To Be Mindset test group. And it was just another answer to one of my prayers. I had committed in that moment to a part of my health and fitness that I really struggled with the most. That was my nutrition. So over the next couple of months, not only did I start to really work on my mindset around food and my relationship with food, but I also started to really dive into my journey as a coach, becoming more consistent than ever with what we now call the Success Club System Tracking System, or the Success Club System Tracker. I think that's it. And I started to really authentically share my journey, my weight loss journey, and inviting people to do it with me. So why the tracking worked, I got out my To Be Mindset tracker and I tracked everything. I wrote down how I was feeling every morning, everything that I would eat and drink, even the little bites and bits that I would take off my kids' plates. I would talk about and write down all the stressors in my life, what I was doing to overcome them or work through them, about motherhood, the lack of sleep, the holidays, the parties, the birthdays. There was always something that in the past would derail me from my goals. And it wasn't until I became really clear with what I wanted most that I was willing to say no to those things that seemed easier in the moment. Getting clear on my vision helped me to create a path for my success. So what ended up happening is I knew I needed accountability. And one of the things that really helped me to stay on track was creating a community of support. We all know challenge groups are amazing, and they create such an incredible community of support and excitement and encouragement. But I knew I needed more than just checking in once a day. So what I did is I gathered some top leaders on my team and we created a support group on Facebook. I would go live on Saturday mornings and I would talk about certain aspects of the 2B mindset. I would answer questions or just really breathe that belief into all of us in there. And together we created a really active message thread where every single morning we shared our goal for the day. That accountability was a key factor in all of us sticking with this program. We would post pictures of our dinners and all kinds of meals. We would share ideas and give, all these different recipes. And it also created a space for us to talk about the things that we struggled with, things that we knew were coming up, like a birthday or a holiday party or our in-laws coming into town. Those things that typically would, take us off course. As we talked about those things and we brought that to the group, we were able to rally with each other and to kind of support one another. And it was so cool to see those girls come back in the thread and say, you guys, thank you so much for cheering me on. I didn't get off course. I stuck to my 2 bunnies and I feel amazing. One of the things that I did for myself to kind of continue this mindset shift was I began to write little motivators on my mirrors, and I put sticky notes around my house. On my fridge, I had a reminder, dinner and done, find other fun. That was something Alana always said, and it really resonated with me. On my bathroom mirror, I would see every single morning, my body loves losing weight. And that was huge for me because I always used to tell myself, like, my body struggles so much to lose weight. But as I shifted my mindset and started to tell myself, my body loves losing weight, 2 pounds at a time. Today is going to be a weight loss day. I knew I could do it. I also wrote my goal weight so that every day when I would wake up, I had that goal in front of me and I knew what I was working towards. This really helped me to remember and stay focused on the end goal and not get distracted by the other things that would tempt me in the moment but didn't align with what I wanted long term. So not only did I use these reminders for my weight loss goals, I also use them for my business. I started seeing affirmations every single morning. On that same mirror, I had written, we are a 10-star elite team. That scared me. Remember, we had been 5-star elite for 2 years in a row, but I knew where we were going and I knew the potential of my team. And I started saying that every morning. I also told myself that I'm a top leader and I mentor top leaders. And then on my computer, I wrote top 50 so that I would keep my actions aligned with our team goal. We finished top 100, so that's not too far off. Tracking really just became a way of life for me through the busiest time of the year, through Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year. I was tracking everything, and I was doing it happily. It wasn't a chore. It wasn't tedious. It was exciting and it was fun, and my team seemed to catch on with me. I changed little things following this 2B mindset, and through that very busy time in my life, and in most people's lives, I lost 25 pounds. At the same time, I became more intentional with my business and the activities that we do every day. And I really began to track and focus on those vital behaviors. And you know what? My business began to grow as well.
You're doing great. Everything is great. I'm jumping in because I want to ask you, can you do this with any program? I mean, I know that tracking is part of 2B mindset, but have you found that this helps with any program?
I would say yes, absolutely, because tracking is not only something that only works for 2B mindset. As you've seen with Ultimate Portion Fix too, tracking is huge with that. And writing down and just keeping track of all the things that are important to us so that we know, it's kind of like a record of proof. It's showing what we are eating, it's showing what we're doing. And with any program, you can have success by tracking. And I really think that's why Beachbody has the Success Club system tracker, so that we can use that record of proof to help us to see success.
I love that. Okay, keep going.
Okay. So like Sandy kind of said, I really began to track and focus on the vital behaviors. So instead of depending on my Instagram folder and my Facebook messages, I got a notebook specifically for my invites. And I started writing down my interest lists and creating a system that worked for me. I kind of fallen out of this habit after having my baby. So getting back into that tracking system was huge for my business. Excuse me. I also committed to filling out my tracker every single day and doing everything on my list before I went to bed at night. And then I also like to focus on intentional mentoring of my coaches with a diamond mentorship. I learned this from another coach in the network who's in my corporate mastermind. I started to incorporate it, and it worked so well for my team. Just really breathing that belief, helping them learn how to track, and kind of mentoring them one-on-one for that additional support. We also created some push groups and some message pods, but that intentional mentorship of the diamond mentorship, that was, I think, a huge key factor in our success last year. So by actually tracking not only my nutrition, but my business, I now had like this record of proof, like I just said. And, you know, of all the actions that I was taking, just like in 2B Mindset, when we track, we can self-evaluate and see what is working, what's helping us get closer to our goals, maybe what we need to change. Tracking my business allowed for me to evaluate what was working, what's not, what I need to do different or change, and to get how to get a more positive results. One of the things that I think really helped me to get to this point was just my belief in the program itself. And Sandy made a really good point in that this can be with any program, really. For me, it happened with the 2B Mindset because it really fit into my life at that time, and it still works really well for me as a busy mom. That belief helped me feel more confident to invite people to do it with me, and more naturally than ever before, because I'd committed to my journey, because I'd committed to the tracking, because I had so much belief in what 2B Mindset could do for others. I'd seen it in my own life, and I knew it was something that could change someone else's life too. You know, before 2B Mindset, I'd just really become complacent with my daily activities, complacent with my tracking, complacent with my inviting, like complacent in every area of my life. And as I started to shift my mindset, I really began to breathe that belief not only into myself, into my coaches. In early 2018, about 2 months after I'd started the 2B Mindset test group, we hit 6-star diamond in my first CBC and 3-star in my second CBC. By the end of 2018, we were a 10-star elite team. And by early 2019, we became a 12-star diamond team. That right there really just, it's so clear to me that the 2B Mindset was the catalyst for my success in all areas of my life and my business. Not just in my health or my nutrition, but it was the starting point there, of course, but in every area of my life. The positivity that the 2B Mindset brought into my life, that small shift that Alana teaches, is really what shifted my mindset in my business. And it's what continues to keep me positive. Because like Alana says, positive people see positive results. And I took that really seriously. So as my confidence in my personal journey grew, my confidence in my business grew. So many of my coaches who began when they started with 2B Mindset have seen that same confidence and belief in themselves. Their positive mindset is what really built their success in their business. I think of one of my coaches specifically, Amy. She'd been in my challenge group years before 2B Mindset. She kind of sort of committed and she fell off, and we still stayed in touch, and she had a little girl, and shortly after she came to me when 2B Mindset was launching, and she told me, she said, I've seen you go on this journey kind of like I had seen my coach. And she said, I want to become a coach. So she got signed up with 2B Mindset, and she got incredible results, and her belief in her journey has really just completely bled into her belief in her business. And it's amazing to see that ripple effect take place, because after signing up, Amy hit diamond in like 60 days, maybe less. And she's just continued to breathe that belief into her coaches. And she's developing strong leaders like herself now. You guys, we have such an incredible gift to give to others. I knew that my success started with my own positive mindset. And I know it's our belief in ourselves that is the key to our success. And you guys all know, and this is probably she's probably one of my favorite authors, and probably yours too, and you're all going to be hearing from her at Summit in July. But Rachel Hollis said this. She said, once you understand that you're the one who is truly in control, you'll get up and you'll try again. And you'll keep going until being in control feels more natural than being out of control. It'll become a way of life, and you'll become the person you're meant to be. You guys, the 2B mindset helped me gain back control of my health, my confidence, and ultimately my business.
So good. I just love that quote. And you know, when you said that tracking is your record of proof, that's brilliant. I mean, it really is, because you can talk to people. You have proof that something worked.
Yeah.
I love what you're talking about, and you seem to have so much joy. Let me ask you the last question. You can also tell everybody why you have no furniture behind you.
I know, we're moving today.
So the last question is, how rewarding has coaching been for you? Is it the personal fulfillment that it brings you?
Yeah, thanks, Sandy. I've been thinking about this all day, and what I could possibly say that could match just what coaching has done for me. You know, I get emotional thinking about it because, and you hear this, it sounds cliche, but what has coaching really not done for me? It's changed my life in every way. All my life, I have struggled, but I've struggled with my confidence and my weight and knowing my worth. And it wasn't until I became a coach and I started working on myself that I let go of what other people thought of me. When I gained that self-love, it took me 6 months too long to believe that this business could ever grow for me like I've seen it grow for so many others. But after 2.5 years of working full time and grinding with coaching and doing it in the cracks of mom life and having it bring me home to my kids and being able to quit my full-time job and now buying a home that we've always dreamed of and that's big enough for our family, you know, none of that would be possible without coaching. And I think of the friendships and the community. And, you know, I was just messaging one of my best friends, and I never would have met her if it weren't for coaching. She's not even on my team, but so many of these amazing people have been brought into my life. And it's because coaching and this network and this community and this incredible team, you know, Team Beachbody, I just can't imagine my life without it. This was all I have ever wanted and could ever ask for, is to be home with my kids, to have incredible friendships, to have so much positivity in my life, and to just feel happy with what we're doing, and to wake up every single day and to feel excited to get to work and to hustle and to grind and to set such a great example for my kids and to give them a really happy home filled with love and joy. You know, I think back to what life was like before coaching. I think back to being in the classroom and running down the hall to see my 10-week-old in daycare and my 2-year-old and peek in their classrooms. And I am so grateful for those hard times, because those were the times that drove me and that lit that fire in my belly to do something more and to push myself out of my comfort zone and to create this life that we're really just so proud of and so excited to be a part of.
I am back. That was great. You know what? Just listening to it a second time, I got all choked up because she's so authentic and real. And I have an affirmation that I shared with her at the end of the call, but I didn't have it on the recording. And that is, if you don't like it, change it. And she did just that. She didn't like the way she was feeling. She needed a new mindset about it. And in closing, I want to say something that happened over the weekend. I saw a movie this weekend. It was the biopic on Elton John, Rocket Man. And there were so many times in his life that redefined who he was and defined a whole new trajectory for his life. The moment that he met Bernie Taupin and they started writing songs together, those moments, I wrote this down because it was so important to me. And it reminds me of what I said earlier today, that could you imagine if life just stood still for you, the moment that you helped somebody change their life, the moment that you help somebody lose weight or earn their first paycheck or something, that feeling that you get if time stood still and you could remember that defining moment for you of when you helped someone else, that is the feeling that when you help somebody take control over their physical or emotional health and help them believe that they can succeed, that defining moment is also one for you. And it's a shift in your mind when you commit to helping yourself or to helping others. And so with that, I'm thinking that the mindset that she was talking about in her call was a decision. That is exactly who we are. We're decide, commit, succeed. You decide is in your mind that something is going to start, and then you commit to it. You make it a habit. You make it a lifestyle. And that's how you succeed. So decide, commit, succeed is really the crux of who we are. So that's it. I'm off my soapbox today. Thank you for coming to the Wake Up Call today. And I'm done. We'll see you next week. Bye.